or highly specialized in computer books. Ignite is like Pejakcha, it's only 15 seconds per image and 20 images, and it's much more geeky. And the other thing I'm launching is something which is called XDA. Maybe if you can type ixda.architempo.net. XDA stands for Interaction Design Association. DA, sorry. IXDA.
Like this?
A like alpha.
All right.
So XDA stands for Interaction Design. And interaction design is an area where many of us are active, but not explicitly enough. There are 10,000 people who are members of XDA worldwide. And I'm the local chair of XDA Belgium. There is someone in France, there is someone in Holland, there is someone in Germany, and we are launching XDA Europe. So for those of you who are on the developer side, it would be interesting to connect with us who are on the user experience design side. To make sure, and I was not there when Ramon spoke, but I know a little bit of his storyline. Ramon is an ambassador of the user experience, amongst others. And XDA is how do we craft the user experience design so that the usage is meaningful. And it might be interesting, you just get in touch with me. And we are busy launching a number of activities for September, for November, and so forth. So now you have the angle. I said storytelling is a very fuzzy word. What I'm looking is the craft behind storytelling. And for people who are in the technology arenas, interaction design and user experience is a way to make that less abstract.
My name is Stefan. I'm not in that business at all, but I've seen, I think it was iPhone applications about comics, and they are just using frames of 2 or 3 seconds of animations, and then you have to click on use it on a way, or just move your iPhone or whatever to get to the next story. So maybe that is something you could use for the storytelling, because you said that you were looking for solutions to tell the same story from paper to mobile devices. So maybe making it interactive and use that possibilities of that devices could be a good way.
That is one thing we already used in some projects. You don't have the sound. That is one thing we already used in some projects. Now, what is the negative side of that? Are there any of you who are graphic novel fans? We are in Belgium, but you are very few graphic novel fans. What happens is that when you see a page on an album, on a cognitive point of view, when you already, by seeing the end of the page, you build up the story. And what is very frustrating with this kind of giving some bits and pieces, for the people who make the story, they have to reinvent the tempo, the story tempo. And so what I'm pushing now is looking into projects where we work with people who make stories, illustrators and scriptwriters, so that we don't adapt from paper to screen, but we invent stories who take into account this kind of constraint. And then we'll come with more interesting stories. Otherwise, we might have some frustration. Frustration not especially on the people who read, but also on people who make stories. I don't know if you know, there are about 400 people in Belgium who make stories. To make one album, it takes 1 year. The average speed rate of making a BD, bande dessinée, is 1 page per week. So it's very craft consuming. Why? Because you have to have the scenario, and then it's lots of work. And then you end up in an album which is sold 5,000 copies or 10,000 copies, 20,000 if you're lucky. And then the publisher says, okay, now let's go to a mobile platform. But your 1 year work will be cut in pieces, fragmented, and the story pleasure won't be like the effort you have put during 1 year as a story maker. So I'm going very back at the source of story making, which has to add a perspective.
Sounds a bit like the cross-compiling we were talking about before, no? It's more or less the same dilemma that it was presented in one of the early presentations, where compiling, or in this case crafting the comic book from the beginning with one interface in mind, is not the same as just cutting it up in pieces or cross-compiling it for any other kind of device.
Yeah.
Which I guess will change also depending on the surface of the screen. It's not the same thing reading in a big computer or an iPad as it is to get the experience here in one of these smaller mobile phone devices.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you have people like Geluc, the guy who does Le Chat. He loves this kind of small mobile platform because he has only 3 images, and the surprise comes at the 3rd. So with a strip, with a comic strip, it's very easy because you show 1, you show 2nd, and then tack, you have the surprise. So he doesn't care, at least with the strip, with the language of bande dessinée, like someone like Skeuten or other would care, because they spend lots of time composing the page. And here I was lucky with Urbicant when I launched Urbicant in '96. So I'm a dinosaur of web. I launched my first website in '94. And so when I look at this, I had the chance to get access to 15,000 images of Skeuten. And we were free to scan, cut, clean, take out the bubble, and repurpose the image for web storytelling. And that's how we made this kind of big website. So it's really reinventing the World Image Association.
So I think it was on TV a demo of an application for the iPad where they enhanced the children book with pictures, etc., with some interactivity. Isn't this type of application or a kind of trend also applicable for bande dessinée, where you say, well, let's enhance it rather than, and see it as a kind of opportunity, rather than as also at how people engage with the picture rather than just watching and having impact on the storytelling?
Yeah, this is, if we go back into history, the era of CD-ROM, 97, 98, the enhancement was something which was explored. The painful process with enhancement is that you need studio resources to do the audio track, to do the right animation pixel by pixel and bits and bits. But this is one route which is interesting. What it requires is that the publisher needs to commit itself to extra funding to be able to expand the story world. And what developers can think about is maybe how to invent small libraries which could help to facilitate the enhancement. And there is a real value, added value as a community of developers. It's how to build a library of small enhancement modules, be it audio, be it visual, animation in terms of sliding between visuals and stuff like that.
Can you give an example? I don't understand exactly what you're saying.
So if we take the enhancement approach, we have a story book for children. We have a bunch of animals. As a publisher, if I want to enhance, then I would look into a library of sounds which I can use quickly in a kind of interface-based software, WYSIWYG, where I can take some visuals of the animals and add